All right. Good morning, everybody. The time is 10:08, and I will call to order the May 22nd, 2025 Planning Board meeting. We are joined by Commissioner Giraldo.
Good morning.
We're also joined by Commissioner Washington.
Good morning.
I'll do the technical.
And I'm Chair Shapiro. Why don't we move on to the business at hand? We'll work through the technology real quick. Just a reminder for folks, note that the deadline for all participant pre-registration and for all submission of materials and exhibits was 12 noon on the Tuesday before this planning board meeting. And staff is available in the back of the room and online for any help on-site registration or any other kind of assistance. As we move on with today's agenda, I'll turn to our planning board administrator. Are there any preliminary matters?
There are none.
All right. We're going to follow the cases in the order that they're listed on the agenda, and we will start with item 2. But before we go to item 2, let's let Commissioner Giraldo's team get him working.
We're good.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay. So is there a motion to approve the draft minutes?
So
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Washington, a second by Commissioner Giraldo to approve the draft minutes of May 15, 2025.
Let's try. I do not have a degree in IT. Just want you to know. My degree is in law. Good.
So that's really
Thank you.
good. All right. So we have a motion and second. This is to approve the draft minutes from the May 15, 2025 Planning Board meeting. With no discussion, I'll call the roll. Commissioner Washington.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Giraldo.
I vote aye.
I vote aye as well. The ayes have it 3-0. We have no legislative items for this week. Move on to the consent agenda. Is there anyone who wishes to oppose staff's recommendations on our consent agenda items? If not, is there a motion?
After consideration of the record for items numbers 4A, 4C, and 4D, I move adoption of staff findings and approval of the items on the consent agenda in accordance with the recommendation of staff.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Washington, a second by Commissioner Giraldo. With no discussion, I will call the roll. Commissioner
I
Washington.
vote aye.
Commissioner Giraldo.
I vote aye.
I vote aye as well. The ayes have it 3-0. Moving on to our regular agenda items. Start with item 5. This is Countywide Planning Division Mandatory Referral MRF 2023-013 Fairwood Elementary School. We have the one and only Christine Osei.
Good morning, Chair Shapiro.
Press it to it.
Press and hold.
Yeah, press and hold it.
There you go.
It's green. Okay. Good morning, Chair Shapiro, members of the board. For the record, I'm Christine Osei, Countywide Planning Section, Planner 3. Item 5 is on the agenda is a proposed Fairwood Elementary School construction on a 15-acre site in the Legacy Mixed-Use Community Zone. The new school is part of Prince George's County Public School Blueprint Phase 2, which consists of 8 that will be funded through the public-private partnership financing. The proposed school is a 2-story building, approximately 83,195 square foot, to serve 600 students from kindergarten through 5th grade. The new school will consolidate and rebalance with the existing Woodmore Elementary School, Glendale Elementary School, and Kingsford Elementary School. There are no issues known and there is no opposition. We'll move to the slides, please. The area is in Council District. Slide. District 6, Planning Area 71. Next slide. This is a slide that shows the phase 2 of P3 schools. Next slide. The project area is highlighted in red. Next slide. It's in the legacy mixed-use commercial zone, as shown on the map. This is an aerial view of the site. It shows residential area in the north. The project site is highlighted in red, and you see the townhouses in the north and south, with a vacant portion of it in the east, and the Pepco line on the west side of the site. Next slide. The environmental features has a relatively flat site with very few trees, and it's open field. Next slide. This is the site plan that is shown, and it shows the area highlighted with white with the building in the middle, and showing the existing road network, which is Fairwood Parkway, which is north of the site, and Gerald Hope Road that drives east of the site down, connecting the townhouses you see south of the site. Next slide. These are the illustrations that show the building architecture. I just go on the next 3 slides. The next one, please. The front elevation of the building. South elevation. Next slide. This is a rendering of portions of the interior, how this high performance, energy performance building will look like when children walk into the building. Next slide. This is the front rendering of the building. Next slide, please. This is the circulation that shows the bus loop, which is at the front. Fairwood Parkway, you can see north of the side, brings 2 access to the side with the bus access shown in blue that makes the loop turn to bring students in the morning and take them out for them queuing. In the recommendations, there will be information that really brings the circulation into a lot of staff recommendation, how safety could be made efficient. So this is a new school bringing change in that section of the community. How are people going to walk to this side? How will students walk there? How will the buses get in and out? And how will students be able to walk from the different neighborhoods to the site? So the next slide is a landscape plan. Again, it shows a white being the building, which is the 2-story building I mentioned earlier. It shows the bus loop. You can see south of Firewood Parkway with the green in the middle. And this school, as many of the phase 2 schools, have outdoor classrooms, which is kind of a neat concept. And then at the end of it, you can see the stormwater management pond. And you can see the road and the traffic and the pedestrian network that is wrapped into the side with the greenery, allowing the elementary school students to be able to be outside, and connections from both the southern part of the community, which is townhouses, and the northern part. And you can tell that this community, this school is in the Fairwood community, which is about 2,000 residents in that community. So there will be a lot of walking into this school as well as driving. Next one, please. Next slide. This shows a little bit of plantings, what the landscape will look like from the previous slide I just showed about the landscape plan. This is just a specimen what the native planting will look like. Next slide. This slide highlights what the P3 school is going to be doing in most of the sites where they're building, what the outdoor classrooms will look like for students to be out, to be able to learn openly. Next slide. It's a high performance building, so it shows exactly the different elements of the environmental design for this site, how it will look like, and bring in open light, natural light into the area, and geotech development. The next slide will show the features I highlight and explain more about the energy efficient features. Next slide. So this feature that I propose here is a 2-story building, 83,195 square foot, which is located at address 113250 Fairwood Parkway. It has 70 parking spaces. It has 4 ADA parking spaces, 2 standard and 2 van spaces, 2 EV charging stations, 3 standard EV parking spots, and 1 AV and 1 ADA van parking spot, and 15 bike racks and 30 parking spots. There are outdoor classrooms, which I mentioned earlier. And I said at the beginning that this new school will help shift the population of existing schools, which are the existing Woodmore Elementary School, the Glendale Elementary School, and Kingsford Elementary School. The project schedule, the next slide, please. It brings us to project readiness, as you can see on the slide, to be 2027. And if there are any questions, I'm sure the school staff is here, they'll be able to respond to the schedule. How will they be able to address some of the concerns that I raised with recommendations in the staff report on connectivity and traffic within the site? The next slide gets us into recommendations. The first 3 slides really bring in some requests from staff for some things we did not get. We're asking for the applicant to be able to provide them. And that's what the first 3 slides really deal with. Revise the plan schedule, provide a large-scale plan that proposed signage monument. And we were told that the monument sign has been designed for all the schools to look the same. And that's why they didn't give us a specific monument sign to go to this school. But we're asking that be done so that at least they can see what it will look like when it's built. And the other recommendations 4 have to deal with the lighting in the site, how they will impact the residential community north and south of the site, either their pole light or building light that's mounted to the building. The applicant is using the green building concept, but we didn't get much into what that will entail. We're hoping that will be elaborated further as the design moves forward. The 7 through 11 recommendations really deal with the connections, the traffic, and the vehicles getting into the site. We're making specific recommendations that the applicant really work to improve the sidewalks from 6 feet to 8. And we're asking them to be able to look into working with Department of Public Works to reroute how the looping into the site and the bus loop will affect the traffic on Fairwood Parkway. Because this is a new development into the community. Nothing has been there for the last 20 years. This is new, so it will bring a lot of planning. And so the last recommendations are just asking the applicant to make sure they can work with Public Works to make sure this site is more the safety elements that deal with students walking to this site, vehicles getting in, and the bus queuing without taking away traffic on Fairwood Parkway, which is the main access into the community. That concludes my presentation, and request the board to take in mind the staff recommendation and approve what the staff has recommended and transmit to the applicant. The applicant is here. If there are any questions that the plan board may have, I can answer them or I can refer them to respond to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Osei. We have questions for staff before we hear from the applicant.
I have questions, but I do want to thank you, Ms. Osei, for your emphasis on the walking and traffic and safety. I'm very familiar with that area, so that's particularly important.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Osei. But I didn't see any recommendation there, and maybe I missed it, for to have signs that I've seen in other jurisdictions like Montgomery County and in Virginia, warning of pedestrians and signage that they put right at the intersection.
We talked. There's a recommendation on signage in general, because the applicant didn't give us a full signing package for the development. We just couldn't go and pick pieces and say you do this and you do this, but the board can make recommendation to the sign that is overall looking into the site if you were entering into the site. There was really no signing package, so the applicant can answer some of those questions. So staff in open design just met the general recommendation. So to be able to see exactly where you're going to display that is schools anticipating a school is coming. Like, for example, transportation is asking for Continental crosswalk on Fairwood Parkway. I didn't know what Continental was. But it was a grooving that allowed people to slow down. And so those are things that the area needs a lot of treatment. And I think that's part of the discussion in your question.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll ask the attorney.
Well, I appreciate both of the questions. I have a lot of the same ones. Mr. Parker, if you want to come forward and perhaps introduce members of the team and the school system, and then we'll pepper you with questions.
Okay. Thank you so very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, members of the planning
Microphones.
board. Oh, microphone's not on.
Press and hold till it turns green.
Is this any better?
Is it green?
Is it green?
Red light's on.
It needs to be green. Hold on. It's our multi-talented development review division.
Turning on.
I guess IT wasn't your thing either.
He's also a lawyer. What do you want?
Right. We'll get through all of these issues, though. Let's get through it. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the Planning Commission, Planning Board. It's a pleasure to be here again in person. We've brought with us today members of the development team for the Fairwood Elementary School, but also they're actively involved in the other 8 schools of this Phase 2 Blue Ribbon school upgrade. Okay, so I'd like to introduce the members of the team. We've heard your questions, and when it comes appropriate time, we'll have the members that are directly involved in that aspect come forward and speak. But let me just introduce the team, because we're very pleased to have the team here with us this morning. From MCN Build, that's the general contractor plan builder for the schools, is Mr. Jonas Minje. He's standing right here.
Morning.
From our design team, Sean O'Donnell, I'm sorry, Jack Chen is here. So Chen? And he is with Perkins Eastman and been involved throughout all the schools that you've seen so far and the 2 that are still remaining. We have Colin from Bradley Site Design, our engineering firm. We have Sharon Bradley herself, of Bradley Site Design. We have Colin Tertium. Colin, okay. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I missed over MCN Bill. Taylor Powell. Taylor, right there too as well. Mr. Carl Wilson, our traffic consultant, is here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
See you, Carl. Good to make it. He'll talk about the traffic issues that are being raised. And from the Prince George's County Public School System, we're very pleased to have with us today Mr. Sean O'Donnell. Sean? I'm sorry.
We know.
It's the first time we've seen each other in person. Rarely do we see each other in person. We've been doing things on Zoom in our meetings. So it's just great to have everyone come together and to meet and see in person Christine Osai. Thank you so much for the report. We've been working with her hand in hand. I want to commend her and let you know she's done a terrific job of reviewing our application and all the submittals, and very timely. We're just so pleased to be here on May 22nd, 2025. All right. Okay, good. Good. So with that, we've looked at the staff recommendations. We asked that the board approve transmittal of those recommendations to us as quickly as possible, so we can move forward with the completion of our design work, because you saw the schedule that's ahead of us. We're trying to deliver this school very rapidly by 2027. And we've got a lot of work still to do with DPI, DPWT, and others that our development team are working with. But this is the first step in that mandatory referral step, is to get the comments, recommendations transmitted to the applicant so we can then go forward with the other agencies. So with that, I'm going to just end my presentation. I know we're trying to move rapidly through this and address the questions that you raise with each individual staff member. Okay?
Please, thanks.
Thank you. Okay.
Just to drive the questions piece, or do you have them down, what we talked about?
Okay.
How do you want to handle it?
Okay. Let's see. Let's just go through the staff recommendations. We can put those slides up. Again, that was slide number 21 of 3023.
Slide 8 to
Slide 8. I'm sorry, because it was 20. Slide 8.
8 to.
And then colleagues, as they're addressing these, because a lot of our questions were linked to the staff recommendations, so we would just feel free to jump in.
So slide 8.
circulation, the recommendations that were in here, the question was raised about signage. I think that's, I said you did not provide a signage package.
Right.
Because you're designing for all, I'm sorry. Okay, Christine again, sorry. I responded to the commissioner that is,
You have to hold it. Press down and hold it.
There you go.
okay. I responded to Commissioner Jordan that the signing package was not submitted with a review, so we made a general recommendation from Urban Design. So that's why it was deferred to you. Be able to tell the board or the community that's watching, how will the signage for the site of the school will be featured in?
Okay, now I'd like to refer that, that's on your staff recommendation number 2 and 3, as I read them, where you're talking about signage, okay? And with that, I'd like to turn over to, okay, Mr. Jack Chin will address that first.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Yes, so you're right. The Prince George's County Public Schools has a standard monument sign that they like all the schools to follow, and we will include that information for the county as we move forward. In terms of the rest of the site, we do plan to have interpretive signage throughout the site. You talked about the outdoor classrooms. We also have various other outdoor amenities for the school that talk about not only the natural landscape, but other sustainable features that we'll be able to do. Sharon Rowley is here. She can certainly answer a lot of the site features that would be part of that as well. So we're happy to provide that information.
Where's the sign going to go? Monument sign.
It's typically in the front of the school. Sharon, do you want?
Which means what? On the.
So you might want to go to the colored one. I think it's,
To the landscape.
yeah.
Let's pull the landscape plan, which is slide 15.
It's typically in front of the school. I don't think we've placed it specifically on here, but it's likely going to be behind the text that says Fairwood Parkway. So it's going to be around there.
Where, I can't even see it.
I think he's
Circle.
moving the thing around.
The west of the parking lot entrance, right?
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
No, it is numbered. It's a little distorted, but it's just to the left curb cut of the entrance.
Oh, number 11. Okay.
Oh, wait, did you touch it?
There you go. The cursor is on it.
Right here, okay.
And is the
can't read
is
it.
the monument sign, is it a backlit sign? I'm just thinking of light pollution and intrusion on the neighbors and things like that. It's not.
It's an LED sign, yes.
Okay. So we don't need to be worrying about what the visual impact is on the
No,
lighting.
we have to put specs on it, so we're happy to provide that. So it's very clear what it is, and no, you shouldn't have any pollution from that.
Okay. Okay, great.
Okay.
Signage questions?
Yeah, my signage is not as to the monumental. What I'm thinking about is signage for safety. So that if there's any intersections that I know we have them in some of our parks, that they light up. US government has them as well over across the river, that they light up. I think they're probably solar, I'm not sure, but they light up and warn people that there's students and children present.
Well, Carl Wilson, our traffic engineer.
Sure. Carl Wilson with the traffic group. This is not signed as a school zone just yet, and it will be. So the manual on uniform traffic control devices has a package of signs that would go in as standard that would sign this as a school zone. Then there's additional signs that you're referring to that could go near the crosswalks that are beacons, essentially, where buttons could be pushed. They could be either solar or powered. We can work with, DPI and DPW&T to figure out the best way to install those.
Would you guys be acceptable to put in one of the recommendations to deal with that type of safety signage? Would you proffer that?
Yes, we are.
Okay, great. Yes, sir. Thank you. That's it.
What's the speed limit on Fairwood Parkway? Do we know?
Right.
How fast do cars go on Fairwood Parkway? I don't know what the speed limit is.
Like 35 or 40, I believe.
Yeah, so one of the things we've actually investigated already for Fairwood Parkway is the possibility of automated speed enforcement with the implementation of the school.
There we go.
So we've already made contact with Prince George's County Police Department about that. And that's something they're very interested in and helping us through the process of getting it implemented once the school's open there.
Excellent. Okay, that's great to hear. Okay, anything else on signs?
Nothing else on sign?
Ms. Park, you want to keep going through the list?
Continuing down to staff recommendations, I think the signers took care of recommendations 2, 3, 4, and moving now to 5 is lighting. I think we talked about that already.
Yeah, we did talk about lighting related to this monument sign and other signage, but I'm wondering about this question about what kind of lighting is going to be installed. Safety is paramount, right? But if these are large snakehead lights that sit over the parking lots, what the impact of that is on the residential community right across the street.
Yeah, like all of our schools, all of the site lighting will be LED and it will have full cutoff. We're required to have the appropriate bug ratings so that we make sure we don't have the light pollution spilling out from the site. There is a code minimum requirement of lighting for safety reasons, and we do meet all of that stuff. But we do make sure with the photometric plan that the light does not spill out beyond what we can do.
Okay, it's great. It's comforting in here.
Will there be activities at the school after hours?
Activities after our school, which are over the.
Normal school hours? I'm just curious.
So this will be a standard elementary school. There's no competitive playing field, so I don't expect there to be, competition. It's, we're talking children pre-K through 5. So we're going to try and limit as much activity on the site as possible. I'm certain there'll be some after-school activities for parents, PTA meetings, open houses, that sort of thing, but nothing dramatic.
Okay, because I know that Woodmore Elementary School was also used as a voting precinct. I don't know.
I don't know if they plan to transfer that to the new school. As you know, this is a partial replacement for Woodmore. So there's been no discussion with our department so far about that. But I can see how that might be a public community benefit. If they ask us to do that, we always agree. So
yes.
Thanks.
If you could stay, because I think there may be other questions for you as well. I don't know. So far. I'm curious about the sort of the community engagement and community meetings, and I'm wondering how, what you see and what the community sees as the benefits from the school, obviously for educating the children, but in terms of the facility that's there, how are the ways in which the community will be able to engage with it?
Well, there are two ways that people are looking at this. Some are looking at it as a community benefit, and some are trying to limit the nuisance that they perceive children will be bringing to the area. So there's a lot of discussion about pathways. That's one of the big issues. We're trying to emphasize that, constructing pathways will eliminate the goat paths. It can happen when people create their own pathways. So we don't want to have that happen. The other thing is they've asked us to put some more trees in, and we're trying to look into that, how we can enhance the tree canopy to make it more of a buffer, if that's possible, and we're trying to do that. A lot of people were asking about which students are going to be going to the school, and that hasn't been balanced yet. We have recommendations, but we don't have final recommendations on that. We have met with the local architectural review committee for Fairwood, and we met with them, and we got their recommendations, and that's all we're even incorporated into the site and the building design. We have had several. One of the things we did initially was we brought the community out, and we had our architectural and our design people set up basically little vignettes, and we gave them the opportunity to sit down with each one of the people and give their input.
Okay.
A lot of the things that we're talking about, like the speed on the highway there or the road there, and all those things came up. And so we've been really thinking about from the very beginning, because we knew that this was a community that originally had a design for a school, and our design is different because we're dealing with some more modern issues related to programming and what the state requires and stuff. And that's changed quite a bit since their last go with this. We've also talked about how the building looks. So we've made some changes as to the brick pattern. The colors that we use for the building are a little bit more muted. The entranceway is a little more standard entrance. Doesn't stand out quite as modern a facility as a couple of the other designs that we have for the other buildings that we're utilizing. And that's all in response to the community's request to make sure that it fits within the community from a visual viewpoint, from an eye candy standpoint, right? And so along that way, we have had several other meetings, and then we started PPCs. We started because we knew of the sensitivity of the situation there, and that we were dealing with several communities, the Sanctuary and Fairwood community, and that we wanted to make sure everybody's happy. We started our PPCs, which is our project planning committee, which we do for all the schools, but we started early this time. And we have the representatives from both the Fairwood Homeowners Association and the Sanctuaries Homeowners Association on that PPC, along with other people in the community. So we meet bi-monthly. We've been meeting on a regular basis. We've been going over the designs and getting input into those designs. And we're trying to make sure that everybody's aware of what we're doing. They've also been very open. We've had some work, preliminary work, just evaluating the site. There were a couple of hiccups, but that's allowed us to really be able to emphasize to the people we're working with the kinds of things we're going to need to do in order to make sure that we are good neighbors when we develop this site. So all that's been taking place over the last, I'd say about 6 to 7 months. And we keep regular communication. What we're doing is we're trying to make sure we have at least a biannual meeting with the community. It's an open house type meeting. And then we're meeting quarterly with people on designs and things. And our PPCs are bi-monthly.
How are you connecting with the community? Is it via the HOA, the homeowners
Yes,
association?
it is, primarily.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to make a statement to agree with what he said. I got a call yesterday from one of the architectural committee for Fairwood. And I asked them when I saw the signing on the sheet that were primarily the consultants. And I said, why didn't any one of you sign? Oh, no, we don't have any issues. We're working with them and we think everything is going to be fine. So I just want to echo that because that's what I was told yesterday from a architectural review committee that you're working with.
That's good. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
This is not all fenced off, so this becomes a community amenity. The park, the stormwater retention pond has a path around it. Does this sort of in some way, shape, or form connect to any kind of existing bike ped trail system, anything like that?
I'm not very sure about that. Ms. Bradley?
Maybe?
I could
Ms. Bradley?
I could start that. Sharon can add to it. Our drawings show an intent to connect to existing trails to the sanctuary. We have had discussions with the homeowners association there about it. There are some pushback with it, and so I think that's what Sean was talking about originally, where we're still discussing it. We want to try and prevent informal paths because ultimately I think they would not look as good, right? It would potentially destroy property. So there is still a conversation going on about that. Are
there any conversations, maybe this is for you, Sean Moore, but is there any conversations with our Department of Parks and Recreation in any way, shape, or form that would be helpful for you? And if not, it's okay. I'm just wondering if there's some value in that.
So as you know, we're trying to, as a school system, work with MMPPC to make sure that we have a shared use of our recreational spaces, that'd be the gyms and that sort of thing. There's no competition style field there, so it's not a major issue for them. One of the things that the community's asked us to do is to, not turn this into an attraction or nuisance. So, we may end up fencing off the basketball court so that we don't have unauthorized use during the evening time. But other than that, the spaces will be open and people will be able to, walk across the campus or walk through it from a recreational standpoint.
Okay, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay.
What about security during the day for the kids? Because it is, the flip side of open and accessible and walkable is we've got kids there and anybody's got access. So will there be security guards or?
So there most likely will not be a security guard, but the building is designed using CPTED methods. So there are visual deterrents that will be there, keep people from wanting to enter the way the administration cited. There's also going to be a controlled vestibule, so people won't be able to access the building itself without going through the appropriate locations. And the doors will be locked. There will be access to the outside for kids to play. But again, this is going to be an open visual area. We don't usually see too much. As far as elementary schools go, this should be fairly safe. Of course, you can't prevent everything, but for the most part, the site will be very secure.
Thank you, Sean.
Okay, other questions related to bike ped, pedestrian, anything more on the list, Mr. Parker?
On the list, I didn't see any other questions come up. We've covered quite a bit,
Did.
so appreciate
That captured all. I can say one very, very technical, small one. How do you determine how many bike racks you do? What is it random? Is it a?
It's okay.
Good question. Unless the client, in this case, PGCPS, has a specific requirement, we typically follow a standard. In this case, we followed the LEED standard. So again, we're talking about a high performance building that we're going after a high LEED targets. So those are one of the easiest things to do. So we typically follow those, and that's where
You thinking you'll get LEED gold?
So we have to get LEED silver, but we do have aspirations to get LEED gold. As you know, it's like most of the other schools, we have geothermal, so we have a high efficiency HVAC system. We have an excellent exterior wall. We have a lot of other things that are getting the EUI.
The solar array on the roof?
So it'll be solar ready. We're currently in discussions about that procurement method, but the intent is that the building will be net zero ready once the solar is procured and active. Yes, so we do have aspirations to get LEED gold.
Okay, other questions?
Nope, I'm good.
Mr. Parker, anyone else from your team you want to bring up before us, or you're okay?
I think we're fine. Everyone's fine. Just wanted them to see you and you to see them, and see Christine as well. And just, again, we appreciate all the effort that's been put into this, and we're ready to move forward.
Excellent. So,
Mr. Chairman, I want to be able to clarify the recommendation for including sign intersection beacons. Are you going to write something? We pass it through our legal?
I'll take care of it in the motion.
Take care of that in the motion. Okay, I just want to make sure we clarify. Thank you.
all right, if there's no further discussion, questions, concerns, colleagues, what is your pleasure on this item?
Let me turn on. There you go. Mr. Chairman, I move that we adopt the recommendations of staff in addition to including a proffered recommendation by the applicant with regards to safety signage. And I would ask staff to work with council and the applicant to ensure that language is appropriate as discussed. And with that, approved transmittal of MRF-2023-013 to the Prince George's County Public Schools.
Second?
We have a motion by Commissioner Washington, a second by Commissioner Giraldo. No discussion. I will call the roll. Commissioner Washington.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Giraldo.
I vote aye.
I vote aye as well. The ayes have it 3-0. Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you
Parker
all.
and team. Good to see you all.
Mr. Chairman,
Ms. Osei?
before I leave, just want to make, this is my last official presentation to you as a staff at the planning board, working for the planning board, planning commission, planning department for 36 years. So I just want to make sure that this is it for me. Thank you so much.
Ms. Osei, we will be sure to recognize you in a more formal way too. I do want to correct one thing for the record. My understanding is it's 35 years and 11 months.
I'm back. in 2 months from my sick leave.
Good to go. Thank you for everything that you have done for all these years. Move on to item 6 on our agenda. This is preliminary plan of subdivision 4-24014 Dobson Farms. This is a request for continuance. We have Mr. Tedesco representing the applicant. Ms. Vathendus will be giving a staff presentation. We'll start with staff.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the board. For the record, my name is Mahsa Vatandus with the subdivision section. Item number 6 on the agenda is the preliminary plan of subdivision for Dobson Farms, case number 4-24014. The subject project proposes 1,024 lots and 140 parcels for residential development. In a letter dated May 8th of 2025, the applicant requested a continuance of this case to July 10, 2025. The continuance will allow additional time for the applicant and staff to complete the review of the adequate public facilities. If the continuance is granted, additional posting will not be required, and the notices of public hearing signs for this application were already posted on the subject site on April 22nd, 2025. This concludes the staff's presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. No questions for staff. Mr. Tedesco, anything you want to add for the good of the order?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, Matthew Tedesco on behalf of the applicant, DR Incorporated. Thanks staff for this presentation. We would respectfully request a continuance. We are still working through one particular issue related to public adequate facilities, which I'm sure the board is very intimately aware of what that issue may be. It may or may not be able to be resolved in time, but we are within our 140 days to July 10th. Gives us a little bit of room, but not a whole lot of room. So if it can be worked out before then, we hope that it will. If it cannot be, then we'll be prepared to present the case to you on July 10th, if this continuance is granted, which we hope it is. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Any questions for the applicant? No questions. What's your pleasure, colleagues, on the request?
I think you said. Mr. Chairman, I move. Easier. Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the request to continue preliminary plan 4-24014 to planning board hearing date of July 10, 2025.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Washington, a second by Commissioner Giraldo with no discussion. I'll call the roll. Commissioner Washington.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Giraldo.
I vote aye as well.
I vote aye. The ayes have it 3-0. Thank you, Mr. Tedesco. Thank you, Ms. Vatandus. Item 7, our agenda, Countywide Planning Division, March 2025, Cycle of Amendments, 2018 Water and Sewer Service Area Changes. Mr. Ray, this is yours. Take it away.
Thank you very much. For the record, my name is Bobby Ray with the Countywide Planning Division, and agenda item number 7 is a review and recommendation for the March 2025 application to amend the 2018 Water and Sewer Plan. Next slide, please. The role of the planning board in this review is a determination of consistency with the general plan to provide any information and or assistance needed by the county executive and county council. The memorandum included in the packet provides planning staff's recommendation as well as the county executive's recommendation for the application received. The larger report provides all of the comments from the planning department as well as comments from WSSC, DPI, and the county health department. Next slide, please. And one application is being reviewed for the March 2025 cycle. So at the regular meeting of May 6, 2025, the county council introduced resolution CR 053-2025 for the March 2025 cycle of amendments. Next slide, please. And this is our sole application for the March 2025 cycle. Allentown Villas is a proposed development with 10 single-family detached units at 9021 and 9005 Allentown Road in Fort Washington. The request is from Water and Sewer Category 5 to Water and Sewer Category 4 and is supported by the County Executive's Office. So staff requests that the Planning Board direct staff to submit the planning comments to the County Council for their consideration as this moves through the process of committee and then back to the County Council for hearing and action. So that concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Ray. I see Mr. Rivera is signed up, but I don't think he's here. I don't see him online either, do I?
I'm here.
Oh, you are? Okay, great. If there's no questions for Mr. Ray, we'll turn to our sign-up sheet. Mr. Rivera, anything you want to join in on with this? And of course, if you could introduce yourself for the record.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, Norman Rivera, representing the applicant in this sole category change application. As Mr. Ray has stated, the staff is recommending approval. The county exec recommended approval. DPI and their other agencies have also recommended approval. The land use is in accord with the established communities, part of the general plan, the master plan, et cetera. So we are looking forward to moving forward to the county council level. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rivera. Colleagues, there's nobody else who signed up to speak. Unless you have any questions for Mr. Rivera's staff, then I would look for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we request staff to transmit the planning comments to the Prince George's County Council for Allentown Villa Sewer Plan.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Washington, a second by Commissioner Geraldo. With no discussion, I will call the roll. Commissioner
I
Washington.
vote aye.
Commissioner Geraldo.
I vote aye.
I vote aye as well. The ayes have it 3-0. Thank you, Mr. Rivera. Mr. Ray, thank you as well.
Thank you.
Ms. Connor, any further business before us?
That would conclude our agenda. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Without objection, colleagues, we are adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.